Good morning. I am Kevin Price. Delighted to be with you. Going to spend some time talking to you about you and your business. Martin Okner is a regular here on The Price of Business. He likes to bring great information about what's happening with mid-market companies out there. I consider him a leading authority on the topic. He has, great experience with his work with one of the largest associations that works with mid-market companies and also in his own personal business. So tell us about your association and then tell us about your own business before you introduce us to your guest today.
Sure, that's great. Thank you so much, Kevin. Always a pleasure to be on the show. And the association that I'm chairman of is ACG New York. It's the Association of Corporate Growth. And the Association for Corporate Growth is actually the largest association of middle market executives and transactional professionals in the world. We've got about 14,500 members globally. Here in our New York chapter, we have about 1,100 members. Many are private equity firms, law firms, accountants, and advisors. And in my personal business, what I do is I work with middle market companies in preparing them for a sale or a capital raise. Work with a lot of second-generation family businesses and entrepreneur-run businesses. And, really apropos to the topic of today's show, I have a really special guest who I serve on the ACG New York board with, Kathy Nalywajko, and she is the principal with 1919 Counsel. They're an investment advisory firm. And today I'd really love to focus in on something that's near and dear to a lot of business owners' hearts, and that's best practices in wealth creation from your largest asset, which is in many cases for family-owned businesses, the operating asset.
Yeah, no question about that. By the way, the website for ACG in New York is acg.org/NYC. And welcome to our show today. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and give us a little more background information?
Sure. Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you today. So as Marty mentioned, I'm a principal at 1919 Investment Counsel, and we're a wealth management subsidiary of the Stifel Financial Corp. We really specialize in delivering integrated family office services to affluent individuals, families, and business owners, and address a wide scope of issues for them, including financial planning, estate planning, tax planning, business succession planning, and their investments. So we work with many middle market business owners who are actively engaged in running their companies and thinking about what the next steps are going to be for themselves and for their families.
Okay, very good. Your question, Marty?
Sure. So, Kathy, there's a lot of families out there who are running family enterprise, and the patriarch is starting to, they're baby boomers in many cases looking, what their next phase is in terms of retirement and succession planning. When should a company really start planning for, and a family really start planning for a liquidity event? When's the ideal time to start in that process?
Well, it's actually never too early to start. The earlier the better, and it really depends on what the goals are for the company, for the owner, for the employees, whether the family is involved, which stage of the business they're in at this point, and whether whether any plans have been put in place already. So, if the entity that they have created for the business is tax efficient, that they may have less work to do. If they've already done some estate planning and gifting to the family and to charity, then they've taken advantage of some of the great opportunities that are available to private business owners. On the other hand, if they haven't, then they may have years ahead of them before they can actually get the company and the entire enterprise, both the personal and the business, to a place where they have taken advantage of everything that they can do so that they can most tax efficiently, both from an income tax perspective and from a transfer taxes being gifting and estate taxes. From that perspective, that they're in shape before they actually proceed with a transaction.
So, is your primary clientele in the mid-market range? Is that the primary businesses you work with?
Yes.
Yeah, very good. Marty?
Yeah, so Kathy, some of those, tax transfer strategies, in many cases, when we work with a middle-market company, a lot of times they haven't even, really grasped the value that they've created in the operating asset. And sometimes they could be looking at a $10 million per year EBITDA business and realize, wow, they're sitting on $100 million, potentially $100 million liquidity event for a family. Can you give us an example? The best thing is usually to stage it, right, in terms of, doing the gifting of shares and then aligning the family in terms of, the family governance and stuff. Can you tell me a little bit about, tell listeners a little bit about what some of those tax strategies are?
Sure. So, you hit the nail on the head. Everything really should be a part of a cohesive plan. And so having a roadmap is really key. And having the right advisors in place who are collaborative and working with one another on behalf of the business owner and the family is really essential to making, the plan work for everybody. So, the government does the business owner a great favor in that it's one of the only free lunches, as I like to say, because when you gift minority shares of privately held businesses to any of a variety of either trusts or vehicles, you get a great valuation discount. So if you haven't taken advantage of that and you have an intention to eventually pass wealth to your family, planning for that and doing that over time is really, really key. I'm sad to say that, there are a number of clients that come to us post a liquidity event and they have not taken advantage of those opportunities, and then, they tell us that they would like to do and take care of their family members, and, then their options are far more limited. So whether, a client establishes a GRAT or whether they choose to gift interest into family limited partnerships, and whether they choose to employ the use of installment sales and promissory notes. I mean, there are lots and lots of different strategies out there. The key is to know that they're there and to start asking the questions early and employ them early.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me, no question about it. Give us a little more profile information about your firm itself.
So we manage about $10 billion for mostly individuals. As I said, we tend to be very comprehensive and planning driven. And, we work with many clients way ahead of a sale. We can be most effective for individuals and families if they share more information with us rather than less. And we have, a broad array of resources in-house to address these various issues. So, the worst thing that any business owner or individual, frankly, can do is, to kind of silo their advisors and their decisions. It's really the coordination of all of these things and making sure that everything, works seamlessly and overlaps properly. That's when you get your best result. If you work in a piecemeal way with your advisors, then you don't have an optimal outcome.
Got to wrap it up with that point. Kathy, thanks so much for being with us. Your website is 1919ic.com, correct?
Yes, that's correct. Thank you so much.
You bet. Great job. And Marty, your firm's website.
Oh, sure. It's shmcnglobal.com.
One more time.
It's shmcnglobal.com.
Thanks so much to both of you. When we come back, much more for you after this.